Hey YouTube, My Darkness 85 here, what's up? Here's my ban list discussion for the October 2019 ban list. October 9th ban list for the year 2019. So here we go. This is what we got banned. I'm just going to go over the cards and I'm going to explain each card individually on the reason why I got banned and my thoughts on it. Okay, the cards that are forbidden, we only got two. Both of them Link monsters. Guard Dragon, Pain, whatever he's called, Pain, I believe, and Nightmare Mermaid. Limited, Sky Striker, Mecha, Widow Anchor. Semi-limited to 2, Dark Arm Dragon, and then no longer limited, like at 3 copies per deck. Chaos Emperor Dragon on Void the End, Elmateo Stratos, Destiny of Malicious, Shruit, the Strategist of the Nekroz, Inzektors Dragonfly, Shaddolls Construct, Royal Tribute, and Super Rejuvenation. Okay, so we're going to discuss the cards that were banned. Guard Dragon, Apergen, and Nightmare Mermaid. So the reason why this one got banned, now, as you all know, this card, like a lot of people on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro were using this with the World Chalice monsters, along with the other two, the ones that point left to right. Combined with this could bring out like Red Eyes Darkness Metal in a heartbeat, in a hurry. Or a Dragon Monster from the extra deck in a heartbeat. It was insane. Combined with that, it created an OTK, FTK enabler, which is not good for the game, especially with all how dominant they were back in the OCG, because there's an archetype coming out in November, I believe, this fall, called Dragon Maids. This card would be very dangerous with it, already combined with the support it has out right now, especially with Red MD out there. So yeah, this card was dangerous. This had to be banned because it's like, you know, it's just not good for the game. Because what this card does is it requires 2 dragon monsters. It's a Link 2. You cannot special summon monsters except dragon type monsters. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 dragon monster from your extra deck to an extra monster zone or main monster zone you can special summon to that 2 or more Link monsters point to. You can only use this effect of Guard Dragon Apergen once per turn. So basically this card, like, it's crazy. Like, you could bring out like Red Eyes Darkest Metal or a dragon from the extra deck to a Link to a monster zone that a Link monster points to. It was dangerous. It had to go. So this had to go. Now, with Nightmare Mermaid, this was no surprise. Just like what happened with Nightmare Goblin and Firewall Dragon, this was the same situation. You know how all the Orcrest builds, like Danger Orcrest Spiral, Danger Crusadia, Orcrest, all that stuff. It dominated the last two ICSs and a lot of the regionals prior to the upcoming ones. So this had to go. This card was never fair by design. This card had, you know, the Nightmare Monsters and Nibbly and that new one that came out in, I think it was Dark Neostorm, the Corruptor. No, not that one. It's a different one. It's the one that has like the level 7 or level 8 one. This card was never fair by design. This was really dominant in Spiral builds during the earlier era of the Link Monsters after Flames of Destruction came out. This was one of the cards that a lot of people said would be like a totally unfair card by design. What it does is, when it's on the field, you can basically, if this card is Link summoned, you could discard 1 card to special summon 1 Nightmare Monster from your deck. Then if this card was co-linked when this effect was activated, you could draw 1 card. You can only use this effect of Nightmare Mermaid once per turn. Monsters on the field lose 1,000 attack and defense unless they are co-linked. So like I said, this card, never fair by design. This had to go. This is what made Spirals dominant after Flames of Destruction came out. And this also made other decks with like Salamander Great, Orcrest decks, and all that stuff totally lethal at times. It's crazy. Nightmare Mermaid was never a fair card by design. I just don't understand why it took Konami so long to realize it, to get it banned. This should have been banned like a month or so ago. But I think after the dominance it had in the YCS with builds involved in this card, especially how devastating the effect is, especially with the new archetypes coming out, we'll find a way to bust this even worse. So it needed to go. Now, to all the Sky Striker players who play Sky Striker builds, this is a really crushing blow, especially for me. Widow Anchor going to 1. As with multi-roll, it was no surprise. This card was also an unfair card by design. Because what it does is, if you control no monsters in your main monster zones, you target one face-up effect monster on the field, except that face-up monster's effects. Wait. Rephrase that. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, target one face-up effect monster on the field, negate that face-up monster's effects until the end of this turn. Then, if you control if you have 3 or more spell cards in the graveyard, you can take control of that monster until the end phase. So basically, this card, if you had 3 or more spell cards in the graveyard, you can actually steal your opponent's monster as well as negating their effects, I think. Or if not, it's optional. I don't know if it is. But this card, I thought, in my opinion, they would hit Shark Cannon or Engage as well. Because if they hit that along with this, Sky Strikers would be done. But they're kind of hurt now because you only have 1 multi-roll, 1 Kagari, and 1 of this now. So, Sky Strikers aren't going to be as busted as they used to be. Like, you could try to run them still, but they're not going to be that balanced. They're going to be really inconsistent at times because you only have 1 of these now. And Shark Cannon can only work in a certain amount of ways. You know what I mean? So, it's kind of depressing. Like, this card, yeah. It's just, Sky Strikers, yeah. We'll see how it progresses during the format. But I don't think they're going to be as busted as they were before. Okay, Dark Arm Dragon going to 2. A while back, I had a video discussing this going to 2 or 3 in the OCG. So my feelings of this card going to 2 remain the same as I was explaining the OCG ban list a couple months ago that had this on there. Way back then. Dark Arm Dragon, a lot of people are faking with malicious Shaddolls at free along with D-Draw and Allure at free. A lot of people are faking, Teledad's going to come back. No. Like, you could try to make a version of it with a link mechanic or something for fun, but it ain't going to be consistent. It just won't. The only thing I would see this good in right now is something that's like a dark attribute type of theme archetype, maybe in the future, but I just don't see it right now. It's just not that good as it used to be. Like, if we still had, like, that Danger Dark World Grapha thing with Firewall, then I think this card would show some resilience in the format. Maybe this might be good in some Shaddolls build or Invoked build or whatnot, but I don't really know. But, like I said, if this would have came back to 2, maybe 7-8 years earlier, then it could do some good with Dark World builds way back then or something like that. But this card, yeah. Because when this went to 1, I always thought it would never go back past that. So, yeah. Now, the cards that are no longer limited are at 3 copies per deck. I don't have a lot to say about them, so I'm just going to make them quick and to the point. Chaos Emperor Dragon, Envoy Yang going to 3. Here's the effect of it. I really don't have a problem with this going to 3. Not many people use this card anyway. I think this card might see some play and maybe in a build that, like a light and dark build. Like, people might try to test some builds out in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro involving this. Like with some of the OCG archetypes that are already been released. So they might find a way to bust this. And the effect isn't as busted as it used to be, obviously. You can't activate our cards or effects after you activate the effect. So that's the good thing about this card. Because if this card would have went back to 3 or 2, like 10 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago, then it would be insane. That would never happen. But, it's whatever. Shaddolls and Malicious going to 3. I'm just going to explain these two together. People could try to run a hero variant of sorts, like revolving around this, along with maybe that new Vision Hero archetype that came out late last summer. But I don't really see a lot of things about it right now. There's not much hype into it. You know what I mean? It's just not much hype into the whole thing. It just isn't. Because heroes, like, they're not that good as they used to be back in the day. Maybe now they might have a little more support. Like, Shaddolls going free. I never had a problem with it, honestly. Neither with Malicious. The only reason why Malicious went to 2 was because of all the Goki builds and the dangers and all that. That's why I went to 2. That's when Armageddon and Grepperwolf went to 1 way back then, because of the Firewall and Grapha, stuff like that. It was just too insane. So yeah. But I think we might try to see some type of hero variant build, like evolving these cards, like coming to the fold within a month or so. Maybe some people might try to do some testing with it on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro or Dueling Book or whatnot. But, you know, we'll see what unfolds. Same, like I said with Dark Arm Dragon, going at 2, we have to wait for like a month or so, see what unfolds with it. Can't really explain much about it. Shrew going to free. I have no problem with this at all either. Like, Nekroz needs some more support. The only thing that kind of disappoints me is not having Nekroz and Unicorn back to 2 and this at free. I think that would have been a little more balanced. Like, if you bring back, like, El Shaddolls, Construct at free, and this at free, bring back Unicorn back to 2, at least. Make it a little fair. Like, this card, the only reason why this got banned a long time ago was because Nekroz was so dominant when it first came out. Because, like when I first heard about that archetype coming out in the fall and winter of 2014, when it was coming out in the winter of 2015, I was thinking to myself, that archetype was so dangerous and crazy. Because this card's effect was busted back then. If this card is tributed by the card effect, you can add 1 warrior type Nekroz ritual monster from your deck to your hand, and its other effect is if you ritual summon exactly 1 Nekroz ritual monster with a card effect that requires use of monsters, this card can be used as the entire requirement. So this is why this card was so busted back then. This was so busted back then because if you were going to summon a ritual monster via a card effect, this monster could be used for the whole requirement. Like Brionac, Trish, and Valkyris. It's insane. There was a lot of ways this card could be busted, but I don't think it would be as busted as it used to be, because this card could be easily, like its effect could be easily countered at times, so I don't really see much of it. So, you know, it could be good in some ways, but sometimes it wouldn't really pan out that well. We'll see what happens. Dragonfly going to free. The only reason why I have Inzektors Hornet with me here at this point is because this is a little too late. Like, if this would have came back to free, if these would have came back at free like 7-8 years ago, like I said, like 6-7 years ago, I think Inzektors would be dominant again. Like, a lot of people have been trying to experiment with them with that new Cocoon quick spell card from the Legendary Duelist Ancient Millennium, which that set is way hard to find now and really expensive to buy a box of. Like, that, the boxes of that set on eBay are like over $100-something. The packs are like close to like $4, $5, $6. And so yeah, with this at free, a lot of people have been experimenting with that Cocoon spell card and amongst other things. And Inzektors have a Link monster now, but you're not going to be able to put a lot of like XYZ monsters on board for an OTK like you did in the past when they first came out. So, and this could be easily countered now with like Effect Veiler, Ghost Ogre, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that can counter Dragonfly's effect and this effect. Twin Twister, stuff like that. And, like, you know, it's just like I said, too little, too late. Maybe you might see something like some potential in this in a month or so, but right now I just don't see that. I'm going to explain this card last. I'm just going to go get these two over with. Royal Tribute going to free. I got no problem with that. Gravekeepers haven't seen much play in the last couple years anyway, and I highly doubt they'll see any play now. Like, with this at free, you could run something with it, but like I said, only time will tell. Only time will tell. Now, Super Rejuvenation. Now, this card, this is going to be solely used in the Dragon Maids and all that, and anything involved with Dragon-type monsters. Like, the reason why this card got banned was because of Dragon Rulers. Dragon Rulers and this card was insane. Like, its draw power potential was nuts. Like, once you get, like, through the Dragon Ruler combo and all that, like Tribune Dragons and all that, at the end phase, you can draw, like, up to 4 or 5 cards. It's insane. It's like a version of Max C for Dragons, obviously. So, yeah, Dragon Maids are going to really benefit from this card. Like once that archetype comes out in November, then probably in January we're probably going to see this get either hit back to 1 or banned again. So just enjoy it while you can, guys, because within a couple months, if this card proves to be too busted, just like with Dragon Rulers, if this is too busted with the Dragon Maid archetype, we'll probably see this go to 1 or get banned again. Now, I'm going to explain this card last but not least. El Shaddolls Construct. One of the best fusion monsters ever created. I might take some criticism for what I'm about to say about this card. This card was never a problem when it came out. It never was. It should never have been banned in the first place. Like, some people have a lot of opinions about cards that got banned in the past and the reasons why it got banned, and now the reason why it came back. But this card was never a problem. This card could have been easily countered in a lot of ways, like Soul Drain, Solemn Warning, Skill Drain. There's a lot of things that could stop its effects from working. And now with the new Link mechanic, you can't summon up to 3 of these in a turn. You just can't anymore. Like 3 on the board at once. Like through the fusion summoning means. You know what I mean? Like, this card was never a problem. Like, Shaddolls might come back. With this at 3 now, I think this might have potential to come back. Especially we have BLS at 3 and all that. And Dark Arm at 2, Dark Arm might see some play in Shaddolls builds, I think. I'm not entirely sure. Like, only time, because I've seen some builds that involve, like, the Shaddolls, like the Train archetype and all that, and the Invoked monsters. This might see some play again. Like, we'll see what happens. Like I said, time will tell if this will be good or not. Like, the format, I can't really say what decks will be good for this ban list format. We gotta wait maybe a couple weeks or so to determine that for sure, and then we'll know. But like I said, El Shaddolls Construct was never a problem. It should have never been banned in the first place. Because as time went on, a year or so after it got banned, like we had cards come out, like Solemn Strike came out. We had like the Winter Cherries that would have got rid of this. Like you played in a mirror match, you know. Never a problem. This card was never a problem. Never at all. So I'm glad it's back at 3. Maybe we might see it, like Shaddolls make a comeback. Like, I'd be surprised if the decks like Nekroz, Shaddolls, and Inzektors make some sort of comeback and contribution to this banlist format. Then we got to see how this plays out once the Dragon Maid archetype comes out in November. We'll see how that plays out. So overall, this ban list, it's okay. I was kind of expecting a little bit more. Like I was expecting like stuff like maybe, for example, like Dragonhawk going to 2. Dragonhawk going to 1. Colossus going to 2. Extravagance going to 2. Mystic Mind going to 1. Stuff like that. But, you know, we'll see what happens in the January ban list. So, hope you all enjoy. More videos coming soon. Comment and subscribe for more videos. Later, guys.